I was watching the radar on your app. Maybe a second later, you could just hear the trees falling.
The strength of that storm is shown.
This pine tree toppled right on top of the pickup truck. Window is completely blown in.
All of the flash flood warnings in green extending throughout the southeast.
The worst is not over yet.
Night is falling, and it's going to be a busy night for so many.
This is not a storm that you want to take lightly. What a day it has been. We have been on the air for 6 hours now with severe weather moving through our area. The good news, the threat is currently winding down. However, we still have rain here until midnight at least. Thank you for joining us. I'm Deborah Morgan.
And I'm David Crabtree. So far, no injuries to report. The story here so far, trees and power lines. Take a look at this car near Cameron Village. That's the car. Look at the tree that fell on it. That happened earlier this afternoon. Wind strong enough that it literally pulled this tree and that root ball out of the ground. Thousands of people are without power, and plenty of people are going to have to make repairs.
Well, in the next half hour, we're going to check in with crews in 5 counties as we show you what the storm has done in our area and what it could still do. Our meteorologists have been talking about the system for the last 3 days, and they have helped us track it for the last 6 hours. 3 of them are with us tonight.
Let's get right to meteorologist Mike Mees in the WRAL Severe Weather Center to see where the threat is right now. Mike, we were looking at this. Cumberland County appears to be getting slammed right now.
They are in a severe thunderstorm warning until about 6:15, so about 15 minutes left till your warning subsides. I wanted to go back in time. For those of you just joining us, I wanted to show you the history of the storm across North Carolina. We start this at 10 o'clock this morning. At that point, there was a tornado warning just to the northwest of Charlotte. And you can see as the storms progress to the east, the number of tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings. Around 2 o'clock this afternoon, that's when we had the nasty line move through Wake County that created a lot of the damage. And this time lapse is over the past 8 hours. And as we get to the very end, I'm going to stop it so we can see the live look at the radar. And this is the only warning that's left over Cumberland County. And again, that's until 6:15. We so far have had no reports of any damage, but the warning continues. The potential is for winds up to 60 miles per hour. There are 2 more counties in our viewing area that have not been touched by severe weather yet. That's Sampson County and that is Wayne County. The event is winding down severe weather-wise, but again, we have 2 counties left until the severe weather threat is done. We do have that tornado watch in effect for Cumberland County, Sampson County, and also Wayne County until 7 o'clock. So I think after 7 o'clock, the threat will be done with severe weather. But we're not done with the rain threat. Take a look at all the rain off to the west towards Charlotte and Kannapolis, and this rain extends to the south and west all the way into South Carolina. We have several hours more of this to come before all is said and done, but we have flash flood warnings in effect for Wake County, Cumberland County, Lee County, and Moore County, where there have been in some locations as much as 2.5 to maybe 3 inches of rain. Coming up, we're going to take a look at Futurecast Cat outlining that in about 15 minutes to let you know when the rain will come to an end. David, Deborah?
All right, Mike, thank you. Now, this storm knocked out power all across the triangle. Behind us, you can see lines down on Six Forks Road and the tree that's into the side of this house. This is a scene that played out in several communities as the winds and the rains were felt.
WRAL's Mark Boyle is in the live center now with just how many people are still without power right now. Mark?
Deborah, tens of thousands of people without power right now. I want to go through some of these numbers for you. So 80,000 customers, we'll get that number on the screen for you, across the state without power. Here is the triangle, Raleigh right there in the center. So we are experiencing here in Wake County 32,000 customers without power right now in the 6 o'clock hour. In Franklin County, they're dealing with major power outages as well. About 10,000 people, 10,000 customers without power. These numbers have been like this. They've been in the dark now for several hours. Going into the evening here, that's going to be a very big concern. We'll continue to monitor this for you. Amanda Lamb is now joining us live in North Raleigh. She's with some folks without power. Looks like you're inside a house there, Amanda.
That's right, Mark. You know, a lot of people are having their dinner by candlelight and by lamplight tonight. And this family was here when this storm came through. These are the Hoppers, Jen and Rob Hopper and their mom and their family. You were in the kitchen. What happened?
We saw the storm moving this way, heard the hail start and said, we better go to the basement.
And let's take a look, Jamie, if you can pan over to show what happened. Tell us what happened right there.
As we were heading to the basement, we heard a huge sound, and a tree branch came through our kitchen wall.
So right where you'd been sitting, you've got two baby girls here, 14 months old, right where you'd been sitting just minutes before this happened.
Yes. Yeah. We're very grateful that no one was on that side of the kitchen, and we were able to make it downstairs quickly.
And it looks like everybody's pretty happy, even by candlelight.
Everybody's doing okay.
These little ladies here just having their dinner by candlelight. They don't know that anything happened here today except for a bright light in their faces. Well, we're glad everybody's okay.
Yes, thank you.
Good luck with getting your power back on. So again, a lot of people dealing with, David and Deborah, dealing with the power out tonight, doing the best they can, and with a great attitude, as you can see, despite what they just went through.
What a beautiful family.
Yes.
And anyone who's ever been through any storm damage knows that they're in for a long haul. So we're glad they're safe. Amanda Lamb, thank you.
So many grateful that they were in the right place at the right time. We've heard those stories over and over today. Meteorologist Amy Wilmoth is in the WRAL Storm Tracker checking out the damage. Amy, you are at a house that saw a lot of damage.
We have now moved over to Bunn, and we're at the high school that has seen some significant damage to the baseball field, the football field, also seeing some damage as well. This right here, a sign showing them that they were the 1979 state championship baseball team in the 2A division. But a lot of damage done here at the baseball stadium. The school looks okay, but the power is out. There are power lines that have come down, and they've actually taken down a brand new fence that they just built. It also took down the marquee sign here as well. Joining me now is Dr. Larry Webb with the Franklin County Schools, and you say there's damage to this school. There's also damage in other spots.
There are. We've extensive damage, as you mentioned, to the field, to our baseball field, to our football field. The roof area around our auditorium has been was lifted up. Now our Franklin County Schools maintenance guys have tacked that down for tonight, and we'll have roof specialists come take a look at that as soon as we can get to. So a lot of cosmetic damage. You just see some stuff blowing around. Thankfully, no structural damage. Got some work to do. We've got some lights at both the baseball field and the football field that have been either out of focus or have been taken down completely.
And you see the power is out. Any word on if they're going to have school tomorrow?
We've not made a decision on that. We're assessing it. I've got maintenance crews all around at all of our schools. We're watching the weather, watching WRAL, trying to figure out what we need to do and make the best decision to make sure everyone's safe. It is a challenge for us to predict the future, like anyone else. We are looking at where we have power outages, where we have damage, and we'll make that decision as quickly and safely as we can.
And Dr. Webb tells me that there's a lot of damage. I actually heard from another person that drove by at Lake Royale, and that is where we're headed next. But there's some damage here in Bunn, also some damage at the fire department just up the road as well.
Amy Wilmoth reporting live. Amy, thank you. This all moved through so quickly.
Yeah.
We marveled at how quickly it moved through, and now we're marveling at what it left behind.
Yeah, especially in Franklin County, a lot of damage reports there. All right, now no schools are canceling or delaying class tomorrow that we've heard of. One district, Durham, is not offering before school care tomorrow morning. School officials say they made that decision because they're just not sure what the roads will be like early in the morning.
Laura Leslie's been out this afternoon, and she has been over so many parts of Wake County. Joins us now again live. Laura?
I am standing here on Richardson Road in Apex, David, and I am standing here to show you why you should not drive around a road closed sign. This is Richardson Road, which floods a lot because it's there's a creek here that's super high and over its banks. But as I've been standing here listening to the show, I've been watching the water get higher over my boots, and I can promise you this is high enough to float your car. And that's when you get into trouble. So this is why, oh, here comes somebody right now. They may try to drive through for us so we can show you. Yeah, the Apex police are asking viewers, asking people, please do not try to drive through flooded roads. It is very dangerous. And if your car does get floated, you will not make it to the other side and someone will have to come and find you. So thanks very much, and back to you, David.
While I'm watching this Jeep, I'm hopefully thinking that person will heed that. Well, there they go.
They were just waiting for Laura to get out of the way.
Yes, and those of you listening to us on Mix 101.5, I hope you heed that warning that Laura just talked about.
It's not worth it. It could be so dangerous. Cullen Browder joining us now live in Raleigh. Cullen?
Well, Deborah and David, you know, inside the Beltline, Raleigh has some beautiful tree-lined streets. Well, now a lot of those trees are in the streets and they're on power lines. We'll take you on a tour of some of the damage when we come back.
Welcome back on this evening of severe weather. We've just heard from Mecklenburg County schools in Virginia. They are closed tomorrow.
I was talking to a school group in Wake Forest at Franklin Academy today, and I couldn't believe how quickly that storm moved through and the damage that they saw, the hail that they saw in Wake Forest. So let's go to Rosalia Federa, who is checking out the damage in Wake Forest in the Breaking News Tracker.
Deborah, David, I'm standing in the backyard of the Hebert family, and this damage is significant. Before we do that, I want to bring Cynthia Hebert in the shot with me. Cynthia, tell everybody at home how many trees you believe are down in your yard, in your front yard.
There has to be at least 7 to 8 trees, big trees.
Now, I'm going to take a walk and show people the yard. I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to step behind the camera. We're going to take a walk through the yard so I can show you this damage. Before we move, I just want to show you this massive tree that fell in the backyard of the home. This landed on their screened-in porch, but this is just the beginning of the damage that they're seeing back there as I walk down. So look at, you can see how big this tree is, and then we're going to turn and we're going to look at this storage shed right here. Now, Cynthia, we're looking at this blue building right here. What is in there?
Well, that's been our jacuzzi steam shower room for 24 years, and it's been intact since all this time. And this is the second tornado event that we've had within 3 months here that just destroyed this garage here. It was just finished yesterday, but not a tree fell on that. It has just damaged everything else in our backyard.
So as we're walking back here, you can see how massive this tree is that was uprooted on the other side of this fence, and it landed, look at this, on that blue building Cynthia was just talking about. As I zoom in, you can see that just laying in the middle of that building there. And that is just one of the trunks, that huge one right there, and then this one right here landing on this storage bin. And you heard Cynthia saying they just fixed this building right here yesterday. And thank goodness no trees fell on that. They had some damage here a few months ago. And it is kind of dark, but you can see branches all in the backyard. And then if we go underneath this tree, there is a white building on the other side of the yard I want to take you to. Give me a moment here as we're walking. You can see all this debris on the ground here. And Cynthia, explain to me what happened with this white barn. I mean, it wasn't standing like that before, was it?
No, not at all. This has been a shed here that's probably been here at least 50 years. We've never had any problem till they clear cut for the Longleaf Estates development. And then we've had damage right after another, starting with our pool. And now this is completely destroyed, also going up into the deck onto our backyard.
So this is another tree uprooted here. You can just see it laying on top of all this stuff. And just this white shed, it's just, looking at this, I mean, it was literally picked up and tipped over. And now there's a tree underneath it. And they also were telling me, Cynthia, that there was a greenhouse back here and a pool back here that was damaged. Now, Cynthia, looking at all this and knowing that this is your yard, tell me how this makes you feel.
Well, when I first saw it, I started crying, of course, because it's been here for a long time. And we cried the first day they started cutting down the 50 acres of trees beside us, and I'm crying again today from the damage that all the clear cutting of the trees that leaves us like we're just out in the open with everything to hit us here. There's no protection, and the few trees that are left are now pretty much down.
Now the good news here is you guys weren't home during all this, so you guys were not hurt.
No, we just got home right after.
Perfect. All right, well, you're seeing this damage. We're going to walk around, get some more video, and share that later on Fox 50 at 10 and WRAL News at 11. David, Deborah, I'll send it back to you.
Boy, it just breaks your heart. Rosalia, thank you. And that saturated ground, the high winds, those trees come down.
Again, when it happens to you, it's not in the abstract. It is real. And it's happened to a lot of people in Franklin County. Let's get to Mark Boyle.
David, good evening. I want to show our folks at home, our viewers, if you are not watching your TV screen right now, if you're getting ready for dinner, turn your head and watch this video for just a moment. You see this exit sign? This is 440 in Glenwood. Watch that sign right there. It slams into this car. When that wind gust came through right around 2 to 2:30 this afternoon, it just blew the sign through and right onto the cars on 440. I don't know how that person's doing right now, but certainly a scary situation. Backed up traffic there on 440 for quite some time this afternoon. Certainly a mess and a frightening situation. Franklin County, they're dealing with a lot right now as well. You see Bunn High School, this is the baseball field right there. Up to the top right of this monitor is the Bunn Fire Department, and we've shown you some of this damage. On the phone right now, live with us this evening is Jeff Bright. He is with Franklin County Emergency Management. Jeff, thank you for joining us. Talk to us right now about what you're seeing and some of the damage in your county.
Well, right now we're seeing a lot of power outages, several trees down, and several homes destroyed. As mentioned, the Bunn Fire Department received damage, and at this time we're in cleanup mode and trying to assess all damages.
Jeff, we've also seen some video as well as some photos of the baseball field, some power lines down, some signs. Talk with me about that area specifically. I know a lot of people are curious about that as well.
At this time, just, like we just said, it's just some major power outages, trees down, power lines, and right now it's just cleanup and just trying to assess all the damage.
When I was talking with you a little bit ago, we were trying to get you on the phone. You couldn't talk at the time. Are you guys opening up some shelters in Franklin County?
Not at this time. We thought we may need to, but at this time we're able to house just a few families at the local motel.
Bright with Franklin County, thank you for joining us. And I do want to show you one more clip of video. Courtney, let's bring that video. This is in Cary. Can we pull that video back for a moment? You see this man right here? He's in the back of his house. We're going to play this video, and this is right as the storm came through. You can't see him, but he's under there. Watch this. That gust came through. He was caught off guard when that came through. Looks like he's okay. He gathered his things and went inside. We'll send it back to you. A lot of video, a lot of pictures coming in on social media here this evening.
Wow, we are shocked as you watching at home, I assure you. Mark, thank you.
The ferocity and how quickly these storms rolled through, that really is so different than what we normally experience, Mike.
Right, and David and I were here on the air live as we watched it move through RDU. We watched the camera there, watched the camera in Apex, we watched the camera here at WRAL, went through our gardens. It was just ferocious. Now, I wanted to take a look at the radar. If you weren't watching TV when all this happened, I want to share with you what happened. So we're looking at the Doppler radar going back in time, starting at 1:48, and we're looking at a line of thunderstorms moving through Chatham County at that point, entering over toward Jordan Lake, eventually making its way into Wake County. This is the same storm that moved through Bunn, also Rollsville, and eventually up into Nash County that produced all the damage. So all the damage that we've been showing you all afternoon from this one system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go time stamp or time hour by or moment by moment, I should say. And by 2 o'clock, the heaviest rain now making its way into western Raleigh, north Wake County, continues to head toward the east, intensifying a bit. You might notice some black echoes showing up. There were reports of $quarter and $half size hail in this area. That's 215, moving through Wake Forest. You saw the damage there. Eventually making its way into southern Franklin County. We had the tornado warning that was issued for the Bunn area, also Castalia for Nash County, and it continued to head toward the north and east, and it eventually weakened. But the majority of the damage we have seen has come from this system. So let's back it up, and I wanted to show you some of the winds inside the storm at this point. So let me zoom in a little bit more. And what was very impressive, the winds here are at about 300 feet off the ground. So we're talking about 74-mile-per-hour wind there at Morrisville, 121-mile-per-hour wind just 380 feet off the ground in Apex. So that's the ferocious line that we saw move through the area that created all the damage, and it continued to head toward the east. Moving through Raleigh, getting closer to the radar as it did, you kind of lose some of the intensity, but it's still there. And then the storm moved through Bunn and southern Franklin County and created all the damage. And this is the area here that Amy was just reporting from at Bunn High School, and she's going to be heading up to Lake Royale where they saw a lot of damage as well. Before I toss it over to Kat, I want to go to the live radar view to show you what's happening across the area. We're still seeing that heavy rain moving through our eastern counties. No severe thunderstorm warnings right now, but we have several hours left before the rain does come to an end. In fact, Kat's here with us with the damage reports and a look at futurecast at how long this rain's going to last.
We still have a ways to go with our flooding threat tonight, but for most of us, aside from the extreme southeastern part of our viewing area, the severe weather threat is over, but our storm reports continue to come in. In fact, I just got a new one in. I just heard it printing off. But here are all the storm reports we've seen across the state today. A number of tornadoes reported to our southwest, closer to the Charlotte area. Here we have had reports of small hail as well as damaging wind gusts. We have had a concentration of those reports so far today in Bunn, in Rollsville. Those are some of the key areas, but they really extend all across the triangle with the storm reports so far today. If we look at Futurecast, I want to show you just how long of a night this is going to be in terms of our rain potential. This is 6 o'clock. We're still seeing heavy, widespread rain. There's really no breaks in the rain on radar right now. By the time we get to 8 o'clock tonight, we could see a few breaks in the rain starting to show up, but notice there's still a lot of red, a lot of orange on the map, the potential for these pockets of heavy rain to continue. And this is because we have multiple rounds of rain moving in from our southwest. We're just going to see these rounds of rain move over the same area. By 11 o'clock tonight, widespread rain still in the forecast, but we finally start to see the rain backing off for our western communities in the triangle around midnight, closer to 2 a.m. for our eastern communities. The rain continues to push to our east. Still a very small chance of a sprinkle early tomorrow morning for the commute, but we start to finally dry out after that. And boy, are we going to need to dry out. If we look at temperatures behind this system, the cold air rushes in. We're back down to 31 degrees by Saturday morning. High temperatures only in the 50s. We're right back into the upper 60s, though, by early next week. Back to you.
We'll take the sunshine. Kat, thank you.
Don't go away. We'll be right back.
We thank you for joining us, and after a short break for NBC Nightly News, we'll come back to WRAL's storm coverage.
Yeah, stay with us. Tonight we will be back at 7 o'clock with a wrap of the weather conditions across our area and the impact of all these storms. And then join us tonight for our news at 10 on Fox 50 and at 11 right here on WRAL. We leave you with this live look at one of our breaking news trackers showing the weather in our area. Stay safe.